Hello everybody, welcome to my channel. Before starting my video, if you didn't subscribe my channel yet, please do, and do not forget to turn on notifications as I'm sharing everyday great contents. Alright, in this video we're going to continue with model bindings mechanism. But before model bindings, I would like to show you, I did some preparation before the lesson. I create a controller which is named model binding controller. Alright, I create a class contains some properties. We're going to use them, and I'm going to create a view while I was teaching the model binding. Okay, that's all my preparation, and now I'm going to show you first using protocols before model bindings, because I need to explain how we're using protocols while we're trying to binding models from our view to our controller. Okay, perfect. Let me open my um, board first. I'm gonna take a pen. Let's make the screen blue. Where is the blue screen? Yeah, perfect. Okay, let's say this is our client. Perfect. Let's say this is our server. So we sent a request to server, and we're going to get a response from a server, right? So what kind of request we can do to the server? If you remember our previous lesson, behind the logic of the web schema, we have some protocols, right? HTTP GET, HTTP POST, HTTP PUT, like this. In MVC project, we are using HTTP GET and POST. So if you made a request to the server to receiving a data, so it means this is a HTTP GET request. But if you sent a data to your server, to your controller, we are using HTTP POST. How we do that then? Alright, let's say this is a form. Most of you guys are familiar to forms. For example, if you trying to log in a website, you are entering your username and email, right? So you're going to send a data, your username and your password, to the server using a form. So there is a button like enter, process, whatever it is. So it means when you enter your data and when you click the button, the submit or enter button, this form send the data to the controller. Controller take this request, take this data, send to the action method, and action method has the parameters which is waiting for the data comes from form. Yeah, and the system match the data comes from user and the parameter and action method. This is how we are using model binding, and this is how we're using post method. What if I would like to trying to receive a list, for example, the user list? Then it means I'm doing a HTTP GET request. In return, I'm going to have a view returning those lists. I mean requested list. This is how we are using HTTP GET and POST. Okay, let's close this section now. Yeah, perfect. Let's create a view. I'm going to show you in a real example. By the way, I changed my theme because it start affect my eye health a little bit badly. So it's much more healthier for me, at least for now. Okay, let's add a new empty view. I'm waiting. Once our page is opened, we're going to start with HTTP GET. Perfect. Alright guys, we let me make this 2 pages to show you much more easily. Perfect. Let's start straight away. Okay, and let's see the page first. And I'm going to explain what is the HTTP GET much more easily, hopefully. All right, let's make this section lower. Perfect. So our controller name is model binding, right? Let's type here model binding and create product. Once I press the enter, click the enter, whatever it is. Once I press the enter, I'm going to send a listing request to my action method, right? Let's, as you can see, we received create product text in my view. So it means there is a HTTP GET we have, but it's hidden. It means if you didn't type anything as an attribute, it means you have an HTTP GET here. HTTP GET. Perfect. So how are we able to send a data? Then we need to obviously use a HTTP post, right? So I'm just going to copy this method and all right, let's say receive data, for example. All right, then I'm going to give a HTTP post. Then we give um, a job, this action method, to receiving data. Let's create a form here and try to see how it's working. Okay, let's type here form and let's say action is receive data. And actually I'm going to use, no, I was thinking to use the tag helpers, but it's going to be later because we're not using model binding yet. I'm just showing you the protocols. Okay, let's add an input. Type is going to be text. Name should be the same here. Sorry, our parameter, let's say string name. So name is going to be name. All right. I'm going to enter the value manually. And let's add a placeholder. Enter a name. All right. Let's add a button. Let's say send. All right, let's have a look. And I'm going to add a method which is going to be post. Okay, we add a form here. The method is going to be post because we're going to send the HTTP post. The action is going to be receive data. Here we go. So we connect our form to our method with the protocols, HTTP post and post, and we're going to send a data using this button. Once we click this button, it's going to initialize our HTTP post protocol to our action method. Okay, then our name value and this string name variable going to be matched by the system automatically, but I'm going to show you model binding next chapter. Okay, let's continue how we able to send a data to an action method and what is the HTTP post in this chapter. All right, let's run our application again. I'm going to put a breakpoint here. Let's model binding and chapter product. Perfect. Enter a name. Let's say test and click the send. As you can see, we catch our breakpoint here. Let's have a look. The name is test. We type here test. We send test using this form to our HTTP post. And it's matched by the system and we catch the name and we're able to use and manipulate this name. Alright guys, let's stop it. I assume you understand how we are using HTTP GET and POST. Perfect. Let's continue with the model binding. Let me close here. But before that, let me make comment this section. Okay, model binding. I can say confidently, model binding helps us to match the data comes from user, which we done a couple of minutes ago, and our parameters in server side. So let's add an action method, new action method, public action result. Let's say add client return with, and let's say this is http get. Okay, let's add a view, browser view empty. All right. Previous chapter we tried to send just one data to our action method. Now I'm going to send two different data, and let's see, is it going to be matched automatically or not? All right. Let's create a HTTP post version of this method, and let's send string um, name, string name, string age. That's all. That's going to be enough. Let's say HTTP post. Perfect. All right. Let's go to view. Oops, not you. Let's copy our form. Get it here. So the name is of our action at client. The method is going to be post input. We have one name and we have age as well. Let's add it. Let's add here a br. Okay, this is going to be age. Enter age. Okay, let's run the application. Let's add a breakpoint here, and let's see the result. Is it going to be matched automatically, name to name, age to age, or not? Model binding. Add, what was the name? Add client. Perfect. Enter a name. Age 36. Let's send it. Here we go. The name is Hassan. Age is 36. As you can see, the binding mechanism automatically match age to age, name to name. How that can be possible? We are giving name attribute our variables. All right, this is how it's possible. All right. So what if I have 100 different input? So should I add 100 different variable in my method as a parameter? Of course not. In this section we have classes. So once I create a class having same properties, it is going to match automatically given name in our form, the attribute means, yeah, and the property. I mean the property, the attribute and property is going to be matched automatically. Let's try and see. Now I'm going to give here a person, and this is going to be a client, for example. Let's run the application again, try to send it. But before that, I'm going to add job section as well. Let's edit. let's say here job. I'm not quite sure, is it going to be affect the capital first letter? We will see. If it's affect, we can change it. Model bindik add client. Perfect. Name, let's say Hasan, age 36. The job is developer. Let's send it. Here we go. We have our person. We have our client. Let's have a look. As you can see, age 36, job developer, name Hasan. This is catch and match automatically by the system. All right, perfect. And while it's happening, our system, our form, once I click the button, send button, it's create a person object. It's create a person object and send this object to our parameter as a person client. All right. So if I send an empty object, it is going to be a little bit different. All right, guys. Let's stop this application. Now I will go through with talk helpers and sending empty object to our models. But before that, I'm going to draw something and show you some important information. Perfect. Let's say this is our user. It's our client, okay? And let's say this is our server. Perfect. Let's delete it. This is our empty form. So how are we going to get this empty form? We're going to send a request to bring me the empty form or the form with the model, and it is going to return us this form. Then we're going to fill this form, press the button below the form, and it is going to send to the server again. Once I receive the form, guys, I would like to point out something different here. Once I receive the form from my server, it can be empty or it can be full with an item. I'm just going to show you how it can be possible, okay? Let's say, okay, this is our HTTP GET method, right? There, we are returning an empty. So our client, there is no model here. As you can see, we didn't add any model. So it is going to be empty. What if I send a model here to my view? What's gonna happen? Let's try. New person, okay? Sorry. Person, client, new. Let's add some value. Name, age, job. Okay, we have a client now. Now I'm going to send this client to my view. Let's go to our view. You are remember. I assume you remember this section because we already finished our data transfer method. So I'm going to pass this data to my view using model keyword. Person. Yep, perfect. Now I have my person here. So how can I add my data to my form? So in this section, I'm going to use add talk helper. which is going to add all of them, comma, MVC. Let me copy from here. Actually, I don't need to add, but we deleted, I guess. Okay, let me find from my, where's my controller now? Tag helper, yeah, tag helper. Yep, here we go. Let's copy. Okay, perfect. We're going to use tag helpers guy. Alright, so it is going to be, instead of name, ASP dash 4. So why it's not working? Tag helper, ASP, yeah, ASP action. Okay, let's add the controller as well. What's our controller name? Model binding. You don't have to type controller name because it is in the same controller anyway, but to be clear, I'm typing everything. It's much more easy. Okay, okay, input type text. Let's delete this. ASP4. What, as you can see, we receive our properties. Now it's going to be match 100%. We are doing is this manually, but it is matching your data comes from user and property in your server 100%. Okay, let's say name. Let's delete this one, ASP4 H. Let's fix this. And ASP4 job. Alright. So this ASP4 working two-side. If we have a model and if our model have any data, this ASP4 bring the existing data add as a value, or if we don't have anything, even if we have, it doesn't matter. If we add a new data to our input, this ASP4 keyword going to send a new value to our constructor again. But we need to delete these values. If we didn't delete them, they're going to send those empty value instead of our model. Perfect. We don't need a default value anyway. Let's start our application. Let's go model binding, add client. As you can see, we received the data. Comes from our model, Hasan 36 and developer. What if I send a different data to my model? Let's change it. Let's make it Michael 45 singer. Let's send it and see the result. Let's have a look at our client now. 45 singer and Michael. As you can see, this ASP4 working two sides, receiving and sending. Perfect. I assume you understand how data binding is work. We always using model binding using the models because it is matching 100% by manually. Perfect. Let me have a look my notes. Is there anything should I tell you? Yep, everything seems all right. Okay, guys. I'm going to finish this lesson here. If you have any questions about this subject, please do not hesitate to drop comment below the video. You can ask any question to me. It is going to improve you and me as well. And if you like the video, I will be really appreciated because it really motivates me to create new contents. Take care of yourself. See you on next lesson. Bye bye.